Hi everyone, I hope you're all doing well today and thanks for tuning in. Now, I do apologise for not posting a video lately. I know it's been almost a year, but things at work have been so hectic and the wife and I have recently started our own little candle making business. So yeah, I've been spending a lot of time doing that, getting things ready and up and running. And yeah, like I said, work has been really crazy. So yeah, it's taken a lot of time away from here, but I hope to change that in the near future. And I thought I would come back to you all with my caramelised red onion chutney recipe. This is something I've been tweaking with over the last few weeks and I've got to a point where I'm quite happy with it. So I'm going to share that with you all. So for this recipe you're going to need some red onions. I had 5 because, well, that's all I had in my cupboard. That comes to about just over 700 grams worth of onion. You can use as much or as little as you'd like. Also, you're going to need some brown sugar. I am using demerara sugar for this recipe, but you can use whatever sugar you like. There's some balsamic vinegar, some light soy sauce, some dark soy sauce, some ground ginger, some garlic puree, salt, and about 500 millilitres of water. And with that out of the way, let's begin. Right, well, first and foremost, you're going to have to peel and chop your onions. Now, I cut mine into half rings as you can see here, but you can do them any way you wish. There's no rules here. And I cut mine not too thick, not too thin, just somewhere in the middle. I find that if you do them too thin, they just tend to disintegrate into nothing at the end. But it is really up to you. This is the way I like to do mine. And oops, almost got away from me. But yeah, I find doing them, this kind of size works well for me. But yeah, you can have them any size you want. And once you've got them all chopped up, chuck them into a bowl, save them for later. And this is what they look like. Right, I'm using a big heavy bottom pan for this. You can use whatever you want here. And then to that, you're going to need some olive oil. I used about 2 tablespoons here and get that up to a medium heat. And once you've got the oil up to temperature, whacking your onions. You don't want your oil too hot, otherwise it's just going to start to burn as soon as you put them in there. So yeah, you need a nice gentle heat and give them a little stir around. And after about maybe 5 minutes or so of gentle cooking, yeah, just keep stirring them every now and again, just to break everything up. And this is where the salt would come in. I used a couple of pinches. I don't want to go overboard with the salt because I'm using light soy sauce. This is just to draw the moisture out from the onions because I want the onions to steam. And just give it a little stir and put a lid on if you've got one. I highly recommend using a lid for this. And give it about 10 minutes, and as you can see the onions are starting to break down just a little bit. Now I like to add in a little bit of water here, some people don't, but I used 100 mils here. Give it a little stir, and this is just going to steam the onions, let it all cook down, get them all nice and soft. And get the lid back on. And after about maybe 5 to 10 minutes of gentle steaming away, I noticed that the water was evaporating, so I put in another 100 mils and gave it a little stir. And as you can see here, the onions are starting to get nice and soft. And put the lid back on and steam away for another 5 to 10 minutes. And in goes the garlic puree. I used about a teaspoon here of garlic puree, but if you have garlic cloves and just finely dice it and chuck it in, you can use as much or as little garlic as you want. You can even just leave it out if you wish, but I like to use garlic in this recipe. And in goes some more water, another 100 mils, and just to get things all steaming away here. Now this is a step I like to take, is that's to add some soy sauce. So I used 2 tablespoons of light soy sauce. This is to add some more salt, and some dark soy sauce, this to add more flavour. Again, you don't need to use this. Some people use red wine, but I don't have any red wine, so I thought I would use some soy sauce instead. I enjoy the taste of soy sauce, so that's why I'm using it in this recipe. It's to add flavour as well as colour. And after about another 10 minutes of gentle cooking with the soy sauce, the onions are, starting to break up really well. And in goes balsamic vinegar. I used about 250 millilitres in total. It seems a bit much, but I think it's necessary. Now, I use balsamic vinegar. You can use balsamic glaze or balsamic syrup, but if you're going to use that, I would cut it with some water. I don't like to use it because I find it too thick. But if you are going to use it, then I would cut it with some water before adding it in. Otherwise, it's just going to stick to the bottom of the pan and burn. So yeah, I use balsamic vinegar every time. Oh, and the smell at this point was making the kitchen smell great, but yeah, the wife didn't agree with me. She's not a fan of vinegar, must admit, but yeah, I love it. Now this is another optional step, and that's to use some ground ginger. I use a teaspoon here. Sometimes I leave it out in this recipe, but I thought I would add it in because I tend to enjoy it. And especially at Christmas time, I would use some ground ginger, some cinnamon, star anise, a couple of cloves, just to make it all, kind of Christmassy and festive. But this time I would just add in the ginger. And after about 5 minutes of cooking with the ginger, I would add in my sugar. Now I use 3 tablespoons of white demerara sugar. If you have like a soft dark brown sugar, then I would use that. I'd said at the start you can use any sugar you want, but I find that if you use like a white caster sugar, that doesn't work as well. And once you get your sugar in, give it a little stir, add in the rest of your water. That was like 200 mils, and at this point I would turn down the heat to absolutely low, because you want this to cook low and slow, otherwise the sugar's just going to burn to the bottom of the pan, and you don't want that. And as you can see here, it's just bubbling away, and I'm letting the water evaporate on purpose here. I had the lid on for like 5 minutes, then I took it off, and I'm just letting the water evaporate. Oh god, I just wanted to grab a spoon and get in there. And as you can see, the onions are all broken up, nice and jammy. Oh, it just looks so good. And I couldn't resist a taste test. Oh, typical. And yeah, thumbs up for me. It's super awesome. And that's it. And as you can see, you can use it for whatever you want. I used mine on a burger. And whatever was left over, I used with some oat cakes and cheese. I love a mild cheddar with this. It's just absolutely wonderful. And there you have it. That is my caramelised red onion chutney. Now, if you have any comments or whatever, then feel free to leave something below. If there's any tips or suggestions you might want to add, anything I can do to make it a little bit better, then I'm always open to criticism. So yeah, please leave something below, whatever you wish. And also you can, if you want, you can like, share, subscribe to the channel, and everything else in between. And I'm gonna try and not leave it as long between this video and the next one. I'm going to try and get into this as much as possible over the coming weeks and months, so be sure to look out for some videos in the near future. And I want to thank you all for being here today, and yeah, I hope to see you all next time. As always, take care, have a good one, and goodbye.